Well, welcome to Goa News now. In Port Town, a issue has started and has become a controversy. The controversies have started from Goa Shipyard Limited, and it started from the councillor from the local ward only, who raised this issue that GSL has not, it is not inclined towards providing jobs to the locals but are providing to the people who are residing outside states. So local employment ratio have gone down, and in GSL the employment ratio have become so less that the locals are not are in majority but are in minority inside the GSL. So being GSL working in the same area, GSL should have taken some note of it, but things are not happening, and that's how it has become a controversy. Well, I think some time ago, a youth, he's still a student, had written to the GSL, and the copy was also marked to the various other authorities, pointing out the same issue. So what exactly he had pointed out will be, let's the same person only reveal the fact what exactly had happened and what exactly he had mentioned in his letter. So to discuss about the same, we have Sherwin Korea. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Naveen Bab. Uh, Thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful studio of yours. I hope this is the first of many visits here to your studio.
Yeah, definitely very nice. Thank you for coming. Sherwin, to start with, what exactly was your apprehension that you had raised some time ago and that has come today true?
See, Naveen Bab, few things. I am a youth, and as a part of the youth of Goa, it is my duty. I consider it a sacred duty to make sure that my fellow youth and fellow young people get employment opportunities in Goa itself. They need not go away and go offshore to some other country. So I came to know about this issue wherein Goa Shipyard Limited was employing people, and many people came and told me that employment was not given to Goan kids, Goan people who are employable from Goa. So what I did is I did my research,
Okay.
and I filed an RTI requesting the number of people and who were employed. I have the names.
When was this?
This is in the recent past now, in last year, in
Okay.
2021.
Okay.
And I had asked an RTI wherein I got the names of people who were employed that year. And I was shocked to find out that around 75 to 80% of the people employed by Goa Shipyard Limited were not local Goan people, which shocked me. And if we see other defense PSUs, like for example the Hindustan port in Vishakhapatnam, the port in Cochin, uh, knowledge of local language as well as being a domicile of the particular state is a mandatory requirement to give employment.
That's true. Yeah.
That is not there in Goa Shipyard Limited.
Okay.
And our late chief minister, he's an ex-chief minister, but I still consider him to be a great figure in Goa. When he became the defense minister, he had given a lot of defense contracts to Goa Shipyard then. And if you look at the Goa Shipyard order book, he had given them something up to the tune of 35,000 crores. And when he commissioned these projects to Goa Shipyard Limited, he made a very categorical statement, and that is because he wants to provide more employment to Goan youth. And we can't see any of that today because most of the jobs are going outside, are going to people who are not from Goa. Now I know that I'm सगळे Indian, पूण आमगे एक धीर येता आहा की जो आमगे गोंया आहा गोवा शिपयार्ड तें आमकां मेळपा जाय, काम आहाय तें आमगे भुरग्यांक मेळपा जाय, आमगे तरणाट्यांक मेळपा जाय.
Sure.
Yeah.
That has to be there.
Yes.
But that ratio when you saw, with whom you first discussed this, that this is happening and this is, really very, very bad thing to happen, at least in Goa. with whom you discuss, and what happened thereafter?
So what happens is I spoke to around 25 very credible people in Goa who are leaders of the public opinion.
Okay.
And I had a chat with them and I spoke to them about this, and they came. We all 25 of us came together, and we kind of we made a study into the issue, and we wrote a representation to the Goa Shipyard Limited. I even tried to seek a meeting with the MD of the Goa Shipyard Limited, but to their fortune, to their good fortune, we can say that there was a pandemic and they did not want to meet us at that time. So now, since the issue has come back up, I think it would be good for us to go and meet them also and appraise them of this. Jobs must be given to Goans, to people from Goa, people who can speak our language. And what I am saying, I demand it. It's not that I am just making a statement or I'm making a representation. I think letters are letters when they are on paper. But I think we need to make a demand. And if the Goa shipyard does not comply, I have these 25 public spirited citizens of Goa who are ready to come with me, and we can go up to doing even a dharna outside the Goa Shipyard Limited, because we want to fight for employment opportunities for our Goan people.
Well, the message is clear here that Goa Shipyard Limited now has to take a call either to employ local youths, or if they are importing, then they have to face this kind of protest, which is a mass protest. It's not ordinary citizens that are coming now. All are well qualified people who have got united, as far as I know. So it is a high time that Goa, PSUs like Goa shipyard should understand the fact that they are operating in Goa. Yesterday we had two leaders with us, Deepak Naik and Nandideep Raut. He's a ward councillor. Yes. His wife is a ward councillor. So both had raised a similar, concern that when it is happening in other states, other states are giving priorities to the locals. Now you have pointed out that there are shipyards in other states who are employing 80%. So that 20% is for those skilled labor which they may have to import it. But overall, whenever we have raised this issue, one thing has come very oftenly, that Goa does not have this kind of a skilled labor which we want, and that's how we want to import this. Is it true? You think so?
I think Goa has the best and most employable people in the entire country. There's no doubt about it. Because if you see, whenever Goans have gone outside Goa, if you go to London, you see Goans are now members of the parliament and now attorney generals. So you cannot say that Goans are unemployable and don't have the skills. If you see, Goans have gone outside Goa, they've gone to Bombay, some have become great people there. So you can never make that statement that Goans are unemployable. Goan people are the most employable, the most skilled people, I think, in the entire country. Many of you may accuse me of bias, but I don't think that's bias. That's a fact.
Well, the thing is really true that if you look at the kind of a work when a Goan person in villages does, city areas is different, village areas are having different kind of a working culture. But I have myself has seen how dedicated they are at work, and there are companies that are employing Goans and they are very happily flourishing.
Yes.
But there are agencies, like most of the time central agencies, like for example we have a Double M airport.
Yes.
You see the kind of people there. For people, they are importing from Kerala. Okay, if they are residing here from long time, then there is okay.
There should be a domicile
Kind of a thing,
and have knowledge of local language.
That is what is the main concern when other states are doing it. So why not this? So coming back to your letter, what exactly was the reference and what exactly was the content kind of a thing, important portion what you had mentioned in your letter, and what happened there?
Yeah, so I basically already have elucidated the letter, but I'll go over it again. So what we basically said was that we quoted examples of other ports, like for example the Masgaon docks, the Cochin port, the Visakhapatnam port, how they are also central government entities, yet they employ the local people. and there was always this perception it's a central government thing, let the central government do, it's not a state government thing. So what we told them is even those are central government undertakings and they still employ local people. We went through what our late leader Manohar Parrikar had said about giving employment to Goan youth.
Yes.
We also gave them copies of the RTI that was furnished to us, saying that so many people from Goa were employed, very few people from Goa were employed, domiciles of Goa were employed. So that was basically the content of our.
What happened? But afterwards, any response you got?
So I had a chat with the leadership and the administration of the Goa Shipyard Limited, and they were not ready to meet us then, as I said, due to coronavirus.
Yeah.
So we have not seen any visible response or visible attempt to change anything. Maybe there is something they are doing inside we don't know about, and I'm sure they are not doing anything about it. But I'm just, to give them the benefit of doubt, I'm saying that they may have done something, but we get to know that they are not doing anything about it. So I want to make it clear through you and through this channel, through this medium, that we are not going to tolerate any more such employment policies of the Goa Shipyard Limited.
Sherwin, now since I know you and your family, there must be your family, friends abroad. When you look at them, when you talk to them, you must be getting some kind of a feedback that even they want to return if there are employment opportunities in Goa. If you look at the recently concluded election, unemployment was one of the biggest issue, big ticket issue. Don't you think that there is a very definite need of a strong political will, this time at least for now, to ensure that these kind of companies which are trying to neglect certain important aspect, are put online?
See, our government of Goa, led by Dr. Pramod Sawant, he promised us that employment would be one of his biggest priorities, and political will come when the doors of Goa Shipyard Limited are open. It's actually it's like a treasure. If Dr. Pramod Sawant and his government make sure that they ensure that the Goa Shipyard Limited employs Goan youth, then they have no problem. Actually, then they can next election they can go and say that we gave Goan people employment in a defense production unit. So actually, this is a golden opportunity for the government to capitalize on, and I'm sure they will once they know the veracity and the importance of the issue.
And when we are actually looking at Goa Shipyard Limited, I want to make it a strong a reference to one particular aspect. There was a time, even my teammates today in my channel, their parents were working in Goa Shipyard. Many of them, I know it, they were actually working in Goa Shipyard and everybody was happy. So there was a time when this thing was at a peak. But suddenly things have changed now.
Yes.
The percentage has come down now. What could be the reason? What could be, as per you, what could be the reason that the trend from having highest number of people in the shipyard to a lowest, from majority to minority, Goans have become minority in the shipyard.
Yes.
What could be the reason?
Sometimes what happens is our Goan people are very skilled, very talented, but they lack the qualifications, probably the requirement of an undergraduate degree or a 12th standard or things like that. Now what happens is many people who come from outside have these degrees, and our Goans maybe they don't have that kind of educational qualifications required for the job, but they are good at what they do, and now, that may be then. So now what has happened is, since it is this public perception that Goa Shipyard does not employ Goan youth and Goans are not required there, maybe Goans don't even go and apply there, because if the entity itself is not employing Goan people, why will Goan people go there for no reason? If you know that, say for example, if you know that an institution is not functioning or will not help you, why will you go to take help from that institution? You will go somewhere else. So if Goa Shipyard Limited is known for not employing Goan people, why will Goan people go there in the first place?
So that's
That's the mentality, that's the perception, that's the label, and that is why we are requesting the Goa Shipyard Limited to change their employment policy, so that our Goan people, also skilled, talented, educated Goans who do not get employment opportunities otherwise and are unemployed and then have to move to other places for employment, can actually work in Goa only.
and could be a helping hand for the Goa's growth.
Yes.
Because if you see, they are doing well abroad, but the same hand, if it is used here,
Yes.
Goa's development, where it will reach.
Where it would reach, and actually it is good for the Goan economy. When more Goan youth, more Goan kids are employed, it is much better for the Goan economy as well. They will be earning, they will be feeding their families as well, rather than going and Goa get re-attaining the tag of a remittance economy. We can stay in Goa only and get our daily bread.
Well, another aspect which I also wanted to highlight here is, when we look at Goa Shipyard Limited, they have used the tagline Goa,
Yes.
but are ignoring Goa itself. How you look at this kind?
See, the naval establishment is there since Portuguese time, about defense production and things like that. And always Goa Shipyard Limited, though it's a central institution, a central establishment, has always maintained good relations with the people. But recently now, with their employment policy, everything is wavering away, and that is because the I think there is no proper feedback going to the leadership and the administration of Goa Shipyard. They are neglecting the people. They are not listening to the people. Like, they did not give us an appointment to meet them. So I think they don't want. They are good in their bubble. They don't want outside people to come or people from the public and citizens to come and actually tell them that what is going on is wrong. So if the Goa Shipyard Limited opens their ears and their mind to the people of Vasco and the people of Goa at large, because I'm not only talking about Vasco, I'm a Goinkar. So if they open their minds and ears to the people of Goa at large, then things will change. Goa Shipyard Limited will actually be for Goan people.
So it is a high time that Goa Shipyard Limited should not only use the name Goa, but also show with their action that they love Goa, they are for Goa and Goans, and that Goekarpan should reflect in their action. That is what is the message. Today, a youth like Sherwin have come up. I know, I was not aware. Today morning only I came to know that even he had taken up this issue last year when the issue had not even cropped up. Today the leaders are talking. Tomorrow the whole of Goa will be talking, because it is a really sensitive issue. Whenever we talk about unemployment, we say that unemployment and unemployment, but everybody is looking at the government jobs. It is not possible for everyone to attain government jobs.
Yes.
So it is the high time that industries or agencies like this should provide a helping hand to the government
Yes.
in supporting to eliminate this unemployment issue, right?
Yes, correct. And not only the Goa Shipyard, in Vasco we have another institution called the Murmugaon Port Authority.
Right.
And with handling of commodities like coal, they have completely ruined the marine ecosystem of that area. Now, if you go to countries like Thailand and other Asian countries, they have things like underwater snorkeling and those corals and things like that. It is there on record on one. There was a writing about the port long back during Portuguese times about the richness of the marine diversity in Murmugaon
That time.
during that time.
Achha, you have read it?
Yeah, I have read it, and there were dolphins and so many other kinds of fish which were there. Today, with this coal and all, everything has gone away. And if that marine life was as it is intact, today our boys from Karawada, rather than going to London, could have worked there and made an employment, made a living there. So because of short-term economic goals and personal goals and business goals, that employment opportunity has gone. Here, nobody cares about Goan, so these employment opportunities are gone. So, in fact, if our leaders had put their mind to it, I'm not accusing anybody or anything, because everybody has come now. This has happened long time back. But if they had put their mind to it about long-term economic goals, employment goals, and kept the people as a priority, Vasco would have been self-sufficient when it came to employment by itself.
One more thing I wanted to add up. Very recent, I was interviewing one fisherman. He said that I won't, ask my future generation to come up for fishing because they are facing it. They are themselves are facing problem, and they don't want that their kids should continue with this. So this is happening right in Murmugaon. If you look at Murmugaon, fishermen are on decline. The other businesses are on decline.
Correct.
If you look at the employment, that is also in decline. There was a time when Murmugaon port was not having that much of privatization, so many people were
Get
employed.
jobs, yes.
Yeah. So you see the kind of a decline, that decline trend. And in such scenario, if companies like Goa Shipyard, which have the capacity to give employment,
To go on.
are denying employment to Goans, then what would be the fate of unemployed youths in Goa? That is the biggest question. One today, Sherwin has come up with his voice. Tomorrow, every Goans will come on the streets to raise voice against this kind of injustice happening. And this is what has been highlighted and pointed out, that tomorrow, if Goa Shipyard Limited does not respect the sentiments of the people, then at least 25 number he has said.
Yes.
And
25% of the total employment was given to Goans. 75 to 80 was given to outside people from not from Goa.
this is what is the example. You just imagine, and then who is going to face the action? It is those Goa Shipyard only who will have to face the brunt of the public. The public will come on the streets. Yesterday, when I was speaking to the leaders, they said that they have to talk in lines with Raj Thackeray. That time has come. Raj Thackeray is also talking about those Marathi Bhasha and those employment. So those leaders are talking in that line. I'm just giving a reference. Okay, this only means that everybody is getting agitated. My agenda is to say that why to agitate the local public? You are here to earn and to sustain. You're not here to create destruction and then create problems for the locals.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yes, but notwithstanding any other thing, I would like to say that my appeal is not of a extremist regionalist type. Not that I am Goan first and outsiders should not get. That's not the thing, because even people from non-Goans have contributed a lot to the state of Goa. But when it comes to employment opportunities, I think Goans should be kept as a priority. And we need not go to levels of Raj Thackeray and people getting mad, because when we have capable leaders in Vasco itself, and you took the names of the two leaders of Vasco. One is Mr. Raut and one is Mr. Deepak Naik, and both are very well-known leaders, well-respected leaders. I also respect the both of them. I think if they, along with our newly elected dynamic MLA, Mr. Daji Salkar, if all of them come together and impress upon the Goa Shipyard Limited that these things need to be done, I think it will be done in no time.
So they have to come united to put us common agenda.
And not only they, everybody, irrespective of political affiliations, irrespective of any other personal affiliations, we have to come out and make sure that our Goan people get jobs, rather than giving it out to other people. Everybody should come, irrespective of anything, your personal differences, should come out and make sure that we get our Goan youth get jobs.
And if not, then you are already ready with those 25 intellectuals to come on and Goa.
We are going to come on the street and make sure that Goa Shipyard Limited responds to our demands and makes the necessary changes.
So this is the final message. I hope the Goa Shipyard Limited now learns a lesson. I am not denying that they must be having some of their own issues or whatever they have, but the sentiments raised by the local youths and the leaders are genuine. They only want employment for the locals. Only the preference word is missing here.
Yes.
Employment is been given, but to people who are not living in Goa also. So one has to migrate here, get settled here, and then do the job. So it's better to have somebody who is settled in Goa, living in Goa, and the same person is doing job. Whatever the government has recently announced in the budget, that they will be having a separate cell for skill employment, and so as to create more skilled labor out. So that skill employment and skilled training programs needs to be prioritized on at least now, because there are instances when I was interviewing certain companies where they said that they don't get those kind of labors, and that's how they are inclined towards getting people from outside. But that situation will not arise if we have skilled labor here presently available. It's not that it is not available, as what Sherwin has said. There are people, but only thing is people have got fed up with such attitude of not been getting employment, or
And being ignored.
or been ignored. So your final message, and then I'll conclude.
I've said pretty much everything I have to say. It's just that certain things need to be done. There is political will, because you interviewed a couple of leaders who also feel the same way that I do. So there is political will, but what we need to know is whether there is will of the Goa Shipyard Limited to make sure that they make certain changes in their employment policy. Once they do that, we have absolutely no issue with them. Make sure that as soon as possible your employment policy changes, and being a domicile of Goa as well as knowledge of the local language is made a mandatory requirement for any employment that is given to somebody.
Then things will change.
Then things will change much better.
So to be in a happy note, I request Goa Shipyard to change its employment policy, and then things will definitely change. Goa is always peace loving. Goans are peace loving. They don't want such kind of agitation and protest until unless it is forced upon. So I request them to change up the policy. Also the political leaders to take this issue aggressively. Today one youth has come. Tomorrow it may happen that hundreds will come up with similar grievance. So before it is reaching to one stage where it is unable to handle, things should be settled in amicable manner. This is the final request. Keep watching Goa News Now. Thank you very much.